Today, I'm taking a session called as Debugging Java Applications. So it's a out of programming concept, but it is a very real-time technique to understand the flow of Java execution, to understand the Java runtime environment, how it is executing internally. I mean, how the flow is moving. So whatever, I'll just take care of all these things as part of this session. So simply, it is called as debugging in general, and it's called as debugging. So that means we are going to understand how we are going to analyze the Java applications with debugging. So with the debugging. So it's a real-time technique. Okay, it's nowhere related to programming, but it's all a good real-time technique to understand the logical flows, to fix the bugging, to fix the bugs. So it's all about debugging concept. So let me go point by point and we will see. Please concentrate. It is a very important and real-time technique, lifelong useful technique, not even one day. And it's being more helpful for us, especially to become more practical and to understand flow of the JVM, everything. So you will see it's more important session today, and it's not part of Java programming day-to-day concepts. I just taken a path-breaking concept today. So let's try to understand. Okay. So first of all, what is the debugging? So what is the point of Java applications with debugging? So that means what is the meaning of debug? So before understanding the debug, so we have to understand a word called as bug. So here the bug means some kind of error, some kind of error. Okay, some kind of issue, whatever it is. So right, generally we used to call as some bug is there. In movies also we used to hear it, right? In that software some bug is there. So bug means it's all about some kind of issue, some kind of error or some kind of problem. It's all about bug means, right? So now the process of identifying the bug, okay, the process of identifying the bug and its root cause. That means root cause means details, why that issue is happening, why that error is happening, why that bug is happening. Okay, and the process of identifying the bug and its root cause details, what is the issue, why it is happening, like identifying the problem, all these things, and as well as the process of making solution also. That means fixing the issue. So nothing but fix, we are going to fix the issue. So this entire process, we are going to call it as a generally debug in general. So debug means just it's all about making an analysis of why that defect. So even I can call it as in official terminology nowadays, we used to call it as in our offices defects. Whenever we are writing a software applications or whenever we are building, testing team will test the application, right? So they will raise defects. If anything is not working as expected, then they will raise it as a defect. So it's a terminology we will use generally. Okay, so sometimes people call it as bugs or whatever it is. Something not working is comes under that mode. So that is what the process calling as debug here. Okay, so now this is a generic word with respect to bug and debug, all these things. Now, what about the concept of Java applications with debugging? Here it is. Okay, so now assume we have a project called, we have a Java application. So nothing but it might be web application, anything. So tomorrow, once you are learning advanced Java, Spring Boot, whatever it is. So it might be Spring Boot application, Spring application, whatever it is. So it's a Spring or whatever it is. Once you are having a logic with you, so the Java application logic or Java code with us. So sometimes we have to identify while identifying the root cause of defect, we have to analyze the source code. We have to analyze the source code. So why and where the issues are happening. while in runtime level, at runtime level. So what is the point of runtime level is, see, generally what we are doing whenever we have a source code with us, for example, if I'm taking this project, banking application, so we have a analysis, like for example what we used to do, for example, so we used to understand like, okay, JVM starts execution from the main method, then it will create object, and inside that object immediately all instance variables of this class will be initialized with the default values. So this is all the analysis we made till today, or in a theory point of view we are trying to understand all these things every day. Like, so what is the basic thing we know? So whenever you are having new, internally JVM will create the object, and as well as we used to understand like all instance variables will be initialized with the default values, right? So if this class is having any initialize, I mean instance variables, means yes, it is having one instance variable. So that means this instance variable by default initialized with default values. Or we know one more point is, if any constructors are there, default constructor will be executed. So right, with this one line, generally if constructors are not there, JVM will not do anything. If constructors are there, constructor will be executed, and as well as constructor logic will be executed. So these are all details we made till today, right? And as well as, for example, while loop. So we know the point of while loop. What is that? Whenever it is value true, it will enter inside that. And whenever it became false, it will leave the while loop, right? So that is all details we will understand, right? So this is all a theory analysis we use to understand how JVM is going to work internally. Now the same theory analysis, now the same theory points, how we are making our own analysis with respect to JVM working, internal working. So if I am showing you same thing in the practical point of view, if you are bringing in, if you are bringing it in front of our eyes in a practical mode, how JVM is, okay, moving from one place to another place, practical point of view, we are trying to understand in today's session. So the advantage, really I'm telling you, this debugging technique is generally people knows who are working in with experience, and the people who knows very well about debugging techniques, they can easily work with applications, they can fix issues very quickly. That much important debugging thing is. And every experienced person, or maybe people who ever got the job with an experience or whatever it is, they will struggle always to identify the debugging process. So understand how the debugging is going to work happen now in every application. So the concept is same, guys, whether it is a web application, standalone application, Spring Boot application, whatever it is, whatever techniques I am explaining right now is all common in everywhere. Okay, it's a see how. Now, for example, if you take an same application one more time, so I know that JVM always starts execution from here only, and I want to see JVM, whenever I said JVM, this line is executed immediately, what will happen? It will identify in that class any constructors available or not. Yes, one constructor is available. Then constructor will start executing line by line, line by line, line by line. Like that, all constructor will be executed, right? And what's happening as part of this constructor? You are created an object for this hash map, for this hash map, and you are initializing and you are putting some values as part of the hash map. So total 9 values we kept as part of the hash map. So that means by the time this constructor is executed, in this accounts instance variable, how many key value pairs we are putting? 9 key value pairs. So that means the moment wherever I am using this variable going further, how many records or how many values available inside the hash map means 9 values are available, 9 key value pairs are available. So now, for example, I'll call create account after that, and the moment it is asking account number, we will enter the account number like something something something. So what it is doing, contains key, and it is checking the account number is existed with the accounts in the existing accounts or not. So I want to see, for example, in the line number 37, how JVM is really Okay, with respect to real time data in the execution time, it's okay. Generally what will happen, for example, if you see here, run as, okay, not this one, go to main method application, run as, what we used to do till today, run as Java application. The moment you are asked run as Java application, it is asking some accounts like some options like this. I entered one, and then I am entering my account number as 5 once. Then it is saying account is already existed, and again it is asking some other options. I given 6, and it is existed and terminated. So now my point is, for example, the moment it is asking option number 1, I entered account number, right? So it is saying like account number is already existed. So wherever this, okay, message is coming, I want to explore that logic with real time data. I want to explore that logic with real time data, how it is comparing. So how JVM is moving. So that means if block is executed means else block will not be executed. So here I want to see what is the account number it is taking internally, and the moment how it is comparing. By the time it is comparing the input account number, okay, and how it is comparing with other account numbers, the list of account numbers, I want to see all these things in the real time mode with real data while executing. So what's happening in general, JVM is not, you cannot see in the runtime level, how many accounts are there in this account object and what is happening in the logic execution flow. You don't have control. As a developer, we don't have a control. But today with debugging technique, what we are going to do is simply, I will tell you in a simple format. We are going to take control of, so developer taking control of JVM flow, guys. Simply I can say this one. Developer taking control of JVM flow. That's what we are going to achieve with this debugging. So how we are going to do that? Let's see here. Okay. So for example, let's take a basic example first, and then we'll see point by point with all the details I'll explain. For example, I want to see every day what I used to say whenever a class object is created. So what you are doing, object got created, right? So I used to say like constructor will be called internally. Immediately constructor executed. Immediately constructor executed. Yes, that's true, right? So how do we know that means? For example, run as Java application. If you see here, initializing all accounts. From where this message came, if you go here, from here it is coming. So by seeing this statement, you are able to say like a constructor got executed, right? A constructor got executed. But I want to see that flow. Really, JVM coming to the constructor or not? If coming, so how it is executing line by line. And sometimes whenever I'm calling the methods, how it is executing if conditions. Okay, how JVM is moving from one location to another location. And at the same time, in the JVM memory level, generally what I used to do every time, whenever I'm explaining, generally what we used to do is, let me show you one thing. So what we used to do is, I think this is the one I can take. Okay, so general, simple, or else I'll take a new one. See, what I used to say generally is, whenever we are talking about theory point of view, I used to say like JVM memory will be there, and as part of JVM memory, whenever you created objects, for example, you created product object, student object, I used to give this kind of diagrams, right? For example, you have a class called as product or account information. Okay, why we have to take different? Same thing I'll take. So you have a account class, and as part of account class, how many instance variables are available means 3 available. Assume like number, account number, a person name, and followed by balance. So the 3 variables. And I used to say every time the moment, okay, account object got created with some, okay, reference A1 or whatever it is. I used to say every object is going to have its own copy of instance variables, right? So I used to say that like number equal to something, whatever the number you given, and then followed by name, whatever the name you given, and whatever the balance we provided, something like whatever the balance we provided, like that. Every account, every object of its inside, if it, every object will contain instance variables with its own values. Now, if you created one more object in the JVM memory, one more object will be created with its own copy. Like for example, I created A2 object, second object, nothing but. Now what's happened in this case? Again, these three instance variables are initialized with the default values, and if you given any real values, those real values will be initialized. So like that, I used to give everyday JVM diagrams, and I used to give all instance variables, right? Now, is this possible to see at runtime level this data dynamically or not? Yes, that is what we can see with debugging mode today. So let's see first of all what is and all, flow by flow, step by step, and let's understand what's happening. Okay, so what we have to do here it is, first of all, there are, whenever we are executing the Java applications, not only Java guys, if you are practicing web applications, Spring Boot applications, whatever it is, whenever you are executing application, okay, you will always have two modes. Two modes. One is run mode, second one is debugging mode, debug mode. So second one is debug mode. So in your these features available always in the editors. Okay, so generally these features are always available in integrated editors. So they're nothing but our Eclipse, okay, IntelliJ, like that. So these features are always available in the Eclipse IntelliJ like that. Okay, so we know how to use Eclipse. Even you can try with IntelliJ also. Now generally whenever we are writing source code as part of our editors, we used to have two modes, whether it is a software, okay, whether it is a web application or standalone application, whatever it is, you used to have two modes. For example, if you go to our Eclipse, generally what we used to do, wherever main method is there, we will go to that class and then we will start here run as Java application. If you observe here, run as Java application. So the moment you clicked on run as Java application, what's happening? JVM checking for the main method and entered inside the main method, executed this line, executed this line, executed this line, and even it executed these lines and it's waiting at this line. So now JVM is not terminated. Why? Because choose an option. It is asking us an option from here because it's asking user input. See, this project I created intentionally for this session, guys. So you know all these topics, that's why. Now I entered option number 4. So what is the option number 4? Check balance. So the moment I called option number 4, switch statement point of view, it is going to the method called as check balance. That is our analysis. That is our assumption. So that means in line number 26, it is waiting for user input and you entered 4. That means choice taken as 4. And if 4, then it is moving to the check balance method. So that means immediately JVM comes here. Immediately JVM coming here. And what happening? This entire logic will be executed. And once this is execution is completed, as per our earlier analysis, again where it will come, guys? Again it will come back here only. So that means it will come out of the what? Switch block. And again it will go to the while loop. Again it will go to the while loop. Again it will go to the while loop. So that means value is true. So that means again it will enter inside that. Again it will enter inside that. Again it will print all this information and again it is asking you what is your option again. So for example, I entered 4, account number, it is asking. So what's happened in this case? The moment I entered 4, it came here. And here it is asking us enter account number. See here, enter account number. And it is the moment you entered account number. For example, I entered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And the moment I entered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this account number variable in the line number 84, what is available? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is available. So this is all theory analysis. This is all theory we are making with our brain, right? Now let me click on enter, then what will happen? It is checking that 1 2 3 4 5 is existed with the existing accounts or not. If available, then it will give the balance. If not available, account is not found. So like that condition is checking here, and if available, then it is displaying the balance based on that account number, or else it is saying like account not found, right? So now this is all our theory analysis. Now can I see same thing with real time or not? With real time data, and I am taking control of JVM. So we are going to take control of JVM now. So how and all, let's see here. Okay, so let me enter 1 2 3 4 5, and I mean clicking on enter. Now what happened? If you see the message, account not found. So now account not found. So that means this line is executed. Cool. So that means with this method execution is completed. That is also cool. And after that, what JVM is to do? So this line is executed, right? It will leave the switch statement, but not while loop. While loop is not yet completed. While loop is not yet completed because we written this logic in the while loop. So again it will come back. By the time what is the bank entry value? True only. True means again it will enter inside that. And again JVM is asking us what is the bank, I mean displaying all these options and asking us enter an option, and again it is waiting for the input value like scanner classes. Here we used only scanner classes. Okay. So like that. Now again you will enter the value. What is the value you will enter is, for example, 6. So the moment you entered 6, what is happening? It will take 6 here. Choice. It will come here. Case 6. It is saying like thanks for using the banking application, and you are making bank entry equal to false. That means you are leaving the right. So that means what will happen? It will come out from the switch statement, and it will come again here, line number 15. By the time bank entry value this time what? False. So the moment it is false, what will happen? JVM will leave the while loop also. And after that main method is ending. So switch statement ending, while loop ending, main method ending. So that means JVM is leaving the flow. And then if you see here red color mark, it is still in the it's still in the execution flow, guys. Your application is not yet terminated. The moment I entered 6, thanks for using the application, and see the JVM is terminated. Why terminated? Main method execution is completed, right? Until main method execution is last line of main method is not executed, still JVM is showing as an active session. So this is all theory we are making, but how it is practical? Now start the real debugging process. So some person, I mean, we will see that how to fix issues with this debugging technique and all. Now, okay, so let's start. I said right. So here we have two modes: run mode and debugging mode. So if you go to the same, if you go to the same option again, run as, and below if you observe or not, with some bug symbol, so some kida, whatever it is, so that's called as bug, right? Generally we used to call it as. So it looks like solid, yeah, whatever it is, cockroach or whatever it is, but it's just like bug symbol. So if you see here, generally run as Java application, right? Now, if you come back here, debug as Java application. So when you want to start your application in the debugging mode to analyze the source code with real logic flows, okay, and identifying the data issues, so to understand the JVM execution flow, everything, so many ways it will help us. You have to use this option called as debug gas. Now see, I am clicking on debug gas and Java application. Now again same, like the moment how you executed earlier like run as Java application, same point of it is asking again same options. So if I given again check balance number 4, if I given again account number 1 2 3 4 5 6, it is saying like account not found, and it is asking me again enter an option. So I'm asking like something like option number 3, and I'm entering again account number called as 1 2 3 4 5. So again it is saying like account not found. Again I'm saying like option number 2. Then I asking account number. So I given 11111, and then it is asking because that account number is existed. So how do I know that this account number is not existed? This account number is existed. Then that's why it is asking some amount. I entered some amount like 2000 like that. So it is saying like updated balance is, this is your updated balance like that. Now again I am checking account number option number 4, check balance, account number it is asking, I given again double 31151 once, it is giving the existing account balance. So that means it's simply working as what in a regular mode. In a regular like run as Java mode, however you did, same way it is working in the debugging mode also. But here you have some magic. What it is? See here. The moment whenever you started your server, for example, tomorrow you are working on the web applications like servlet applications or whatever it is. Generally, you will have an option called as run on server. Similarly, in below you will have debug on server. Two options. Even if you are going to the our Spring Boot applications also, probably who is learning the Spring Boot, for them also it is very easy. Simple. There also you will have an option called as run as Java application, run as Spring Boot application. Similarly, you will have debug as Java application, debug as Spring Boot application. Simply you have to choose an option called as debug application if it is a Spring Boot application. Okay, so I'll show that last. Now see here. Okay, that is cool. Now you are selecting debug, even still it is executing in a regular mode. But here, while you are making debugging mode, so this is what we are discussing today. That is what the session of debugging Java applications. So whenever you started, okay, your application in debugging mode. So here, by default, it will work as a in regular run mode only, like however you do that. But here we have a concept called as breakpoints. So what it is? Breakpoints. So when you are started your application in the debugging mode, in our editors, you have a concept called as breakpoints. So what is the meaning of breakpoint? Let's understand. Okay, so generally, what is the meaning of break, guys? We will we will use this word break, right? Some gap, some pass. So you are passing some break, you are taking some gap, you are taking, and again you are starting. So that means you are just making applying a break. That means sometime you want to, I mean, generally with respect to vehicle, applying brake means stopping someplace. Or in a general point of view, brake is all about up taking some time, passing the flow, pass the flow. So that means just stop over there. Don't move to the next step like that, right? So that is what about break control. So that point is, I mean, that is what. With respect to debugging, when it comes to the breakpoint point of view, it's just like now the breakpoint point of view is all about a pass, applying a pass at a line, at a line while execution flow. So applying a pass at a specific line of code while JVM execution flow is happening. So that means here you have to understand a concept called as breakpoint concept. So if you are, what is the point of breakpoint here? It is generally what happened. That's what I'm telling you. So if you are started your application as run as Java application, simply it is moving in the flow like whatever the options you are giving, it's moving and it is happening everything. Even if you are starting your application as debug as Java application also, it is always starting and it is asking you some options and you entered, again it is terminated. But now the breakpoint is saying what? You are going to apply a pass at a specific line. That means at a specific line means you know that as a developer sometimes where problems will come, okay, where maybe you are identifying this logic is causing this issue, this defect came because of this logic. For example, some person suspected like there is some problem in this line, this conditions properly, these conditions are not written, because of this condition some issues are coming, some exceptions are coming. So then you suspected here, you suspected, okay. Now you want to understand or analyze this logic very clearly. Whenever it is making transfer funds or something, some issue, some defect came, So they said like even if you are giving this point, so and so exception came or whatever it is, then you suspected this is the area the problem is coming. Now how to check this flow at runtime level? So that is what you have to apply the breakpoint. So wherever you want a line, you have to apply the breakpoints. So that means how to apply the breakpoints. Now you know breakpoint. Now the point is how to apply breakpoint. How to apply breakpoint. See here. It's a very simple guys. There is no programming in this. That's what I'm telling you. It's a real-time technique. And every day we used to do in our day-to-day office. So every developer should know all these things. Okay, and it's very important also for experienced people especially. See, if it is Spring Boot application, also same thing. Generally, we are working every day on Spring Boot, right? Generally, what you used to do, I mean, this is the main Spring Boot application. People used to do like run as Java application or Spring Boot application, right? Similarly, if you see here again, same option here also. Run as Java application, I mean, sorry, debug as Java application, debug as Spring Boot application. Same options. Tomorrow, if you created any web server, web application also, same, you will have two options, run on server, debug on server, like that. So it's a common technique across all Java, Spring Boot applications. So it's all taking control of JVM flow. Now let's see how to apply the breakpoint. Now my problem is, I want to see, I want to stop JVM flow at this line itself, at this line itself. Okay. So if you understand right away, for example, debug as Java application. Now, the moment I done that, constructor executed and it came back here, it came here, all these lines are executed. And because of this line scanner, it is waiting for a input value from the user. But my point is, first of all, I want to stop JVM here itself. I want to see how JVM is executing the constructor. In this case, constructor is there, right? So I want to see how this constructor is getting executed. So that means I want to stop JVM flow. I want to apply a break of to the JVM execution flow here itself. I don't want to move to the next lines. I will take the control. I will drive the execution flow. I means as a developer, I will drive the execution flow. How to do that? Let's see. See here line number 11 you have, right? So on go to the line number 11 and double click on that. So what you have to do is, it's all about how to apply a breakpoint means wherever the line, whatever the line, okay, you would like to pass JVM execution flow. See, you're not stopping, passing, okay? JVM execution flow, JVM execution flow. It's okay. Whatever line you would like to pass JVM execution flow, there, okay, go to that line number, go to that line number. Guys, this to understand this technique in my career I took almost 2 years. I mean, at the time I don't know this concept is there, but when I entered into industry, everybody is, most of the people are doing debugging, but to understand that it took longer time for me. So understand the sessions. So there, go to the, not only this, while you are practicing also it will help you like anything. You now you will feel something like you are learning somewhat very interesting like that, going further. So you can fix your issues on going further. You don't need to come back to me. You can do the debugging. You can identify the problems. So you can fix your own issues when you're getting any errors also. That is the beauty of this debugging. Okay, let's see here. There, go to that line and make a double click. Go to that line number and on top of line number, on top of line number, do double click. Okay. So that means if you see here, earlier you don't have this blue symbol. Okay, if you see here again, I did the double click, that means breakpoint is removed. Now if you observe here line numbers in this area, if you observe here, these are all line numbers, right? Now my point is what? I want to pass JVM flow here. From here I will drive the JVM. I will take care of, I will, okay, I will take control of the JVM execution. So I want to apply a break here. So I want to stop JVM execution flow here. So that why in the line number 11, I'm doing the double click. The moment you did the double click, some blue symbol came. So some dot symbol came, right? That is what called as breakpoint, line breakpoint. See the explanation. What Eclipse is saying, line breakpoint at line number 11. You applied a breakpoint. You applied a breakpoint at line number 11 from the main method. Yes, that's what. If you want to remove the breakpoint, again double click. So now I make a breakpoint here. Now understand the flow. Now see the flow. What I did as of now, I applied only breakpoint in the existing source code. Run as Java application. So if you see here, the moment you use it again run as application, what happened? This line is crossed. JVM already completed this line. JVM even reached to this line also. But my intention is what? JVM should not execute this line. Okay, JVM should stop. Once reaching to this line, JVM should stop. Stop means take a pass. I will take control from there as a developer. I will drive from there. But why JVM is moved to next lines is that means you have to note make a point here. It is breakpoints not applicable in run mode. So run mode is a plain mode. So breakpoints not applicable in run mode. So that means if you are added any number of breakpoints, when you started your application as a run as Java application point of your run mode, so run as, those breakpoints will not covered. Or that means JVM, I mean whatever the debugging point of view you are taking breakpoint, those not coming into the picture. So that's why you have a special mode called as debugging mode. Now see what I am doing after applying the breakpoint, debug as Java application. So what I am doing, instead of run as, debug as Java application. See, the moment you are asking, okay, the moment you clicked on the debug as Java application, the editor, Eclipse editor is asking confirm perspective switch. That means it is trying to asking us is this kind of launch is configured the open debugging windows. This debugging perspective supports application debugging by providing views for displaying the debug stack, variables, breakpoints. Switch to this perspective. So please click on switch. Whenever you made a debug as Java application, immediately it will ask a confirmation it is asking and click on switch. See here, the moment you clicked on switch, the appearance of your editor is changed. The appearance of your editor is changed. And don't touch this appearance until you are getting the confident. Okay, now if you observe here, some green line. Okay, I will show you very clearly. This is what debugging mode. Now see here, line number 11 level you operate the breakpoint, right? The threads. Actually, there is a concept available threads and all. You will understand later. But anyway, so see here in the green line, highlighted line, simply I can say like, okay. And if you keep cursor also here, what it is saying, debug current instruction pointer. So I said, right, set of instructions, nothing but every line is an instruction to the JVM. Now what happened in this case? This line is not yet executed, guys. Understand the things from here. And if you observe here, I said like command line arguments. How to pass command line arguments, you know that. Now see, you are not passed any command line arguments. That's why what? Empty array. This arguments is a string array. If you are passing any command line argument values, then you will see inside this array those values. Right now you are not passed. That's why what is the array size? 0. And what is the array? This one. So this is all about what? Understand the point. Variables. So this section is automatically opened when you uh, started your application in the debugging mode. Okay. So the moment you made, it is saying like this line is executed, nothing but this line is executed means then only JVM entered into this line. That's why with respect to arguments as a developer, we are not okay, entered any values. That's why it is saying like still array size is 0 and an empty array values. Now see the real beauty of this debugging mode. Okay, now what's happened? Now JVM is under control of developer. That means now JVM is waiting at this line. JVM is not moved to this line. JVM is not moved to this line because you taken as a developer, we taken control of JVM. So that's why you applied the break. So that's why what JVM is doing in this case is the moment JVM entered into main method, okay, and you started in the debugging mode, you enable the debugging mode and it is observing any, is there any breakpoint or not. Yes, breakpoint is there. The moment breakpoint is there, JVM will come to that line but not execute. JVM will not execute immediately. JVM coming to that line and waiting for the developer. So that means now it's time to developer has to move this JVM execution flow to the next step. Now what we understood in earlier scenario, the moment this line is created, this line is executed, sorry, I said an object will be created in the JVM memory and that object is given with a variable name called as whatever you given. So like I think I given bank application and I said internally any constructors are there, constructors are executed or else instance variables will be initialized with the values. This is the story you are listening every day. Now see that is true or not practically. So see here, now what you have to do? JVM is waiting for you. Then how can you say that move to next line or go to next step? So you have to give an instruction to the JVM. Otherwise, JVM will wait for you until evening also. If you are going outside and it will wait for you until evening also. If you observe the console also, see, if you observe the console, still it is in the active session guys. Red color means still our program execution is not terminated, still active. And if you observe console, there is no output. Why? Because nothing is executed as of now. At first line itself, we applied the breakpoint. So that's why JVM is waiting for us. Okay, line breakpoints. So debug the current instruction pointer. So that means it is saying like it is waiting at this line. Now how will you pass an instruction to the JVM move to the next step? If you observe here again, okay, this okay, sorry, this area please remember. This is the area you have to remember with respect to debugging area. So here you have some options. Okay, I will involve one by one option. What it is and all. Okay, if you observe some arrow marks here, one, two, three, three arrow marks are there. Two are enabled right now. One is not enabled. It will be enabled. Okay, so simple. These five options, especially six options, will be there. These six options are more helpful when you are making the debugging. Then only you will see these options. Okay, here this symbols. In regular run mode, this will be disabled. And here you have to remember this variables window. And here you have to observe what's happening. Here you have to observe what's happening. So that is all. Now see, still JVM is waiting for you. JVM is not executed the constructor because you taken the control of JVM. Now JVM control in your hand. Now what you have to do is, if you observe the arrow marks, okay, step into, step over, and if the next one is step return. So what are the three arrow marks available? There is step into, step over, step return. Okay. So there are three arrow marks available and they given some shortcut buttons also. If you want, you can use, or you can use mouse and you can click on it. See, what it is saying is the arrow mark symbols are very clearly explanation. Step into. That means you are saying to the JVM, hey JVM, the moment you are executing this line, okay, if internally if you are executing any other logic, generally what is our assumption? From this application class, you are calling some other class and you are creating object. That means immediately what is our assumption? JVM jumps here, right? That is what we know that every day. Now see here, I am clicking on what? Step into. Step into. What happened? It went somewhere else. Okay, no problem. And I will click on like this. Okay, see, don't play with these buttons, guys. Nothing will happen. You are not losing 1 rupee, 1 paisa also. So play with these buttons until and you cannot get within one day also. I'm frankly telling about it. Today I'm creating an awareness and idea to you how to make debugging the code and all, how to use these options. But going further, you have to play with these options. One fine day you will understand how these three buttons are working. It's not like you are going to get within 10-15 minutes with my explanation. So you have to face a lot of practical things, then you will understand how these three buttons are working. Now see here what I am doing. See, still if you observe the console, no. And if you observe here, what is this classes guys? Class loader. When I explained about JVM architecture, I mean, in the first time JVM, how executing the program and all, I said what we understood some points like what. So the moment you executed the program, dot class file will be loaded into JVM memory. Who loads class loader will load that memory. Class loader is going to load your dot class file into JVM memory. So like that we understood. Now see here, the debugging mode went to our Java code also. Not only our logic. This is all about what? Java logic. So that means you can understand the internal Java logic, how it is executed also with the debugging modes. That much powerful this is. So this class, if you observe here, class loader dot class jdk dot internal. So I said at that time, class loader is going to load your dot class file into JVM memory. So that's what happening. So that means in this case, what happening? Bank application is a class, and you are written a logic for creating an object. Now the JVM internally moving to the class loader. It moved to the class loader. It came here, and it is internally checking dot class file is available or not. All these things. So this is going in depth, in roots level it is going, but I don't want that. Now click on this step over. The moment you click, so here step into means entering into more deep. So what's happening under? If you click on step over means, see here, step over. Okay. So what's happening? It is simply coming out. If you observe here, step over, step over. See, that means what happened? It went somewhere else. It executed something internally from the JDK point of view, class loader, all these things. And now again it came. Now click on step over. Okay. Or step into. See here. Again step into. Now what happened guys? Where it came? It came to this constructor. Came to constructor. And it is waiting at constructor now. See green line. Highlighted green line. Now observe here, I think we discussed a concept called as this keyword. What I said with respect to this is a keyword represents always current object. Now if you observe here, this is the keyword and accounts is the what? Variable. So that means what happened now guys? An object got created internally for the class called as banking service, and that is referred by this instance variable. Sorry, this keyword. I explained this keyword. So now this is nothing but current object of the banking service. Which class? Banking service. That's why if you observe here, banking service and accounts is null. Is it true or not? The moment whenever object got created, what I used to say, all instance variables will be initialized with those default values. Now it is a non okay, it's a non primitive. So that means reference default value is null. So that's why you can see accounts equal to null. Okay, cool. And now JVM is waiting for you at this line. JVM is waiting for you at this line. So now what you have to do? If you want to see how line by line JVM is executing this one also, what you can do is you can click on step into. See again it is happening what? It entered to object class. I said right, object is the topmost superclass. See how how much in depth you can understand the programming languages if you know this kind of techniques. So now what happened internally? Internal it is creating superclass object. Step into. Okay, fine. Now next, again you did something step into. What is this guys? Println. Every day we are doing system.out.println, right? Every day we are doing that. Now see that is the println method, whatever the value you passed internally, and this is what class? Print to stream.java from the Java language, java.io stream. So that means what's happening in this case? Here JVM. So it entered into println method and to print this message. That's why you are not seeing any message here as of now. Now click on step into, again it entering into this method. So that means if you are clicking on step into, it's going into more deeper root level. Okay. So, okay, now I said, okay, I don't want to see all this logic. Let me come back to the old, I mean, wherever. So generally JVM, see in the light blue color, still JVM is executing this line, but internally it went to println method also. Internally it went to println method, there it is executing. Now you felt like, no, I don't want that internal execution and all. Directly jump to this line, jump to this line, like that if you are saying, then you have to use the word called as step over. So see here, step over means, see now what happened, if you observe here, initializing all accounts. So you saw a message called as initializing all accounts. So that's what you did, right? Printing. That's why it printed. Now in the next line again JVM is waiting for you. Still accounts is what? Null. Right? Yes, you are not created object. At line number 16 you are creating the object. Right? So once line number 16 is executed, then an account and an object created for the hash map. So you don't know hash map, maybe collections you will see like that, but this formula is applicable for everywhere, guys, not only here. Simply an object. Now, if you are clicking on step into, what will happen? See, again it went to the real hash map class given by the Java language. So you don't want to see that entire internal logic, what is happening and all, you have to click on step over. So you clicked on step over, what happened? Okay, so now I'm again clicking on step over. What happened? Next line it is moved, JVM. Now observe the thing here. What happened to accounts? An object is initialized, hash map. Okay, click on that and see here any data available in the hash map. Nothing is there. Nothing is there. So that means, yes, you are not kept any data as part of the hash map as of now. Right? Now this line level JVM is waiting. Now see here, step into next, step over. If you are doing step in, what will happen, guys? It will go into this put to method also. If you want to see, step into, what happened? It is going to the, see, yeah, it's a good thing. Now, if you observe this logic, what you are doing? You are creating an object for the account information class. Account information class. That class only we created. Now, the new operator point of view, what's happened? It entered into constructor of account information. So that's what you are doing, right? New means you are creating an object. So immediately what it does, it went to this account information also. So that's why, yeah, step into, again object, more deeper level you are going. Again one more line, step into, step into, step into. Again it came. See, now one object, one value you put as part of the hash map. Now see, 0 value in the hash map, key is 111111, and value is what you given account information object. You give an account information object, right? And that you can see here as a value. So if you observe here in the runtime level, value is what account information object. Key is 1111, and if you are expanding value also, in the 111 key point of a hash map, you are having this object, and inside that object again, account number 111, balance 1 lakh, holder name ONU1, account holder name 1, you have. Now similarly, I am executing second line. Understand the things here. As of now, how many values available? One value is available, index 0. Now step over. That means you felt like, okay, I know that internally, if you are clicking on step into, what will happen? Here you are creating object for the account information. So that means JVM is going there also. That means you want to see, I said it will go to the put to method of hash map logic, Java language. So you don't want to see this means go to the step over. See, simple. Step over means simply moving to the next line. Step into means internally if you are calling any constructors or any other methods, other class methods and all, it will jump there. Step into. If you are clicking on step over means you are saying like, okay, don't go that methods, go and execute and come back here only. Like that you are clicking on the step over. So that means in this case what's happening the moment you click in the step over means your intention is Okay, I know this is the method going to be executed from the hash map class, and this constructor will be executed. So this information and all I know. So I don't want that details. Could you please move to the next line? Could you please move to the next line? Like that, if you want to say, you have to use what? Step into. Sorry, step over. Now, this is what. Now, after some time, you are making a good debugging sessions and all, you know that how this construct. So now what happened? Whatever the way this line is executed, same line this line executed, same line this line is executed. Now you felt like, okay, I understood all these things clearly. Let's move back to the another line where this constructor is called. Then you have to choose an option called as step return. See, if I am doing step over what? Next line, next line, next line. If you're doing step into, what happens? It entering into put to method, it entering into account information constructor. That means it's going more deeper. And if you observe here, what's happening guys, in the real life, real time, you are seeing real time data also. How many values you put as part of hash map? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All you can see. Not only hash map, anything I'll show you practically. See, step over, step over, step over, step over, and step over, step over. So what happened? Finally, this one logic is executed, and you saw initializing and how many. Okay. So now again the JVM flow came to which class? Banking application. So that's why you can't see that accounts option here, because right now JVM moved to this class. Now click on step over. What happened? It came here. Okay. Now observe here, banking service is the reference variable, and you created an object. Internally that object contains an accounts variable, and that accounts variable is having total 9 values, and internally that 9 values also having key value, key value, key value, key value, like this. So you can see whatever earlier I used to say everything with diagrams like this, A1 circles, double one, double one. Now see, you can see in the real time with your eyes itself. For example, I said, right, account number 11111111 key, yeah. So total they will maintain internally. Yeah. So I said, like, for example, account information object is created. Okay. So if you observe here, this is what I written every day in my paint application. This is what I'm writing every day in my paint application. So that means now you are seeing things with in a real time itself, instantly itself. So that is the beauty of debugging mode. Now, okay, now it came here. Now you are saying like, okay, move to next line. It JVM move to the next line. Now what happens? While condition point of view, it will check what is the value, true or false. True means JVM enter into next line. So step over. What happened? It moved to the next line. Step over. Step over. And if you see here, observe here, a dynamically output also coming guys. Okay, and you can see here bank entry. What is the local variable? You created bank entry, right? And I said local variables are going to be removed immediately that method execution is completed. But right now it's in the main method and local variable is bank entry, and what is the value? True. Still bank entry value is true. So now I'm saying like step over. Step over means immediately it will print two option. 3. See here, observe the output. Dynamically it is executing. Step over, step over, step over, step over. Now what happens? Here it is asking. So now what's happening in this case? You are calling another class from this class, and you are calling a method called as read integer. So now you want to see what is the logic is available inside this method and how it is executing also you want to see. Then what you have to do? You should not select step over. You have to select step into. So that means you are telling to the JVM, hey JVM, could you please enter into this method also? I want to see what is there, how it is executing, what logic is there, and what logic is executing. I want to see that. So then you have to use an option called as what? Step into. So the moment you click on the step into, what will happen? JVM will go to this class and enter into this method. If you are clicking on step over, what will happen? JVM will go to this method and executes, but you don't want to see that. That means you are telling to the JVM, go to that method and execute and come back to the next line. Like that, you are telling the meaning of step over is. See, you are taking control of JVM. It's not like you are not saying like where JVM, which logic has to be executed by JVM, which should not be executed by JVM. That control you don't have. Whatever the flow JVM is going, that flow you taken in the control. Simply you are saying like next means JVM will go to that method and execute. So now see here, I am clicking on step into. What happened? Okay. The moment where you clicked on step into, what happened? Yes, that is the class, right? Input class, utils. It came to this method, read into method, and it is asking scanner next integer. Scanner next integer. So that means you know that what is a scanner, what is a next integer. We discussed this thing. So it is expecting a integer value. Now you said, okay, I understood this logic. Step return. So now see this option is enabled. So that means you are saying like, okay, I understood what's happening here. Go back to the wherever you call this method, right? In this where here in this banking. So from here it is initiated, right? Line number 26. That's why see in the gray color line you can see in the back end. So now you are saying like, okay, come back from there to here. Please return. Like that, if you are doing that, what happens here it is. Okay, so let's wait. Actually, sometimes few objects will not take. Okay, sorry. It is waiting for what? Choose an option. So this is what. So you know that, right? You have to enter an integer value. Now, for example, I am entering what value? I am entering 1. So I entered what? 1. Now I am clicking on enter button. The moment I clicked on enter button, what happened? It taken that 1 value and put it into choice. Whether it is right or not, see here. Step over. What happened if you observe here? What is the value of choice? 1. So in this choice, what is the value? 1. What is the one you entered here? That one it is taking. Now you know the switch statement. What will happen? Choice value is 1. And see here the beauty of debugging mode. I'm keeping my cursor on the choice. What is the value? 1. So you can see dynamically data here itself. You can see dynamically data here itself. Now the moment 1 is means where it will go to this case, 1 is matching, then it will go to this method. Whether it is right or wrong, see. You said like step over or step into. See if I'm making like step over, it moved to the next line. And now if you make step over, what will happen is it will go to this method. It will exit. Case is matching. 1 1 is matching, right? So what is the choice value? 1, and case value also 1. So that means it will enter here. So if you are doing step over, it will go to this method. It will execute that flow like that. It will try to do that. But if you are doing step into, see what happened. It entered into create account method of the banking service class. Step into, that means you entered into this logic. Now see here, step over, enter account number. So I'm entering, so I'm creating account, right? I'm entering 11111. And observe here already some accounts are there. How many? 9 accounts are there already. Account number 444, like that. I mean, in the constructor level we initialized all these account details, right? Now again I entered something like 1111. Already account number is there, but still I am entering. So that means in this account number, what is the value came here? It is step over. Oh, sorry, enter. Please click on enter button. Until you are not clicking enter, that will not. Okay, I entered 1111. Now what will happen? In this account number, what is the value came? If you observe here, what is the value, guys? 5 ones. What is the variable? Account number. See, you are seeing everything with your eyes today. Whatever I am explaining from last 2 months, this is what JVM will do. This is how manage this value entered into this variable. Okay, this is how it will maintain the values. Everything. Now you are seeing with your eyes itself. So that means that 111 value, 5 ones value came here. Now what? It is checking that 5 ones value is already available inside the accounts or not. Yes, it's already there. So the moment that means already there means true. Condition true. Condition true means it will enter here. So that is what we know, right? Now see here, step into. Step into means what will happen? It will go to this method. You don't want that. Step over means you are saying like what is the next line? Go to it. So it entered if condition. Why this became true? The moment it entered into if condition, what is our thing, it will not never ever execute the else block, right? So see whether it is right or wrong. See, it came to else, but it will not enter into else. See, it moved to the last line of this method. Now who called this method create account? From where this initiation came? From where this initiation came? From the line number 29 of, see here, from here you can understand, from line number 29 JVM jumped to this line actually, right? JVM jumped to, so that means if you are clicking on step over, it came back to switch from here only, right? It is called from here only, it is called. Now if I am clicking on step over, what will happen? It will leave the switch statement. It will leave the switch statement. Okay, cool. Now again, why it came? Yes, switch statement is completed, but while loop is not ended. Why? Still balance value is true. If you observe here, what is the bank entry value? True. True means again entering into inside. Step over, step over, next, 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 next. So like that. Now I'll show you one beauty here. See here. Enter choice. Now user entered a value called as 5. Okay. And click on enter and step over. Now observe here. What is that beauty? What is I'm trying to say here? It is, for example, you entered what option number 5. Option number 5 means transfer funds. But you felt like in between middle, you want to see the value of choice. Instead of 5, I want to pass 3. Some reason I entered, I mean, the value came as 5 only, but can I manipulate this value at runtime level or not? So now what is the choice value in this case? 5. But I want to manipulate choice value at the moment. I want to give some experimental value. I want to give choice value as 10 at the moment, but I don't want to go back, and I don't want to start from the again from debug as like that. I don't want to. Right now I want to change choice value as a 10. Is it possible or not? So see here, go here, update the value as what? 10. Now see what your choice value became? 10. You entered as 5. Okay, taken as 5 only, but what is the beauty in this case is, now you can ask, sir, what is the problem in this case? Why you changed it? See, when you are testing our logic, we have to test with different values. So now my mind thought like, if I given 10, how switch statement will react in the runtime point of view. Until this it is 5 only, but now I made it as 10, where in the runtime itself, in the JVM memory itself, I made directly value updated as 5 to 10. Now see, choice value is 10. What will happen now? Choice value 10 means no case is matching. It will enter into default. It will say like invalid choice again. Whether it is right or wrong, see here. See, what is the point I made? I given the value as 5. Choice value came 5 only, but I modified again as 10 based on my requirement. I'm doing some testing. I want to see whether if I given 10, it is really moving to the default or not. So step over, see where it went, default mode. So now, next, again it came to the while loop. Now what is the value of bank entry? True, right? Now I want to make it as false. You can make, see here, I think drop down they given false. Now see the beauty. Now automatically bank entry value became as false. So that means what is the advantage of debugging mode is, sometimes when you are when you are doing the debugging in a real time applications, you will have thousands of lines of logic. You cannot go back again to give a new value. For example, you entered some value, the logic is you debugged half of the logic, 500 lines you debugged, and still there are 200, 300, 400 lines of logic is there. At the time you felt like, in place of true value, if I given false, how the flow will move, like that you got an idea. So at that time you cannot go back and you cannot again enter false, something like that. You can give instantly there itself as a false. Now see here, if you go to the accounts also, account number 8, 2222, right? Account information, what you given? So here key value is 2222, account number 222222. His no holder name is 2. Now you can modify these values also. So I given 22 or whatever it is, or Dilip. Now what's happened in the JVM memory level, you are modifying value from 2 to Dilip. Now wherever you go going further, for account number, I mean you modified from 2 to Dilip. So in the dynamic, so that means in the execution flow itself, you can modify the values dynamically. See now I made bank entry also by default actually true, but I felt like okay, let me make it as false. You are not updating the source code, guys. You are updating at runtime level in this variables section in the JVM memory point of view. That temporary value, whatever entry is there, you made from true to false. Now what will happen? While false, it will leave the while loop. So that means it will loop. Next, main method. It will leave the main method. Finally, your JVM session is going to be terminated. So whether it is right or wrong, see step over. See, it came to main method. Now even if you are clicking on step over, everything is terminated. Terminated, see terminated, that means yes, it's left the main method also. Invalid choice, please try again, something like that. So that means you can play with your source code when you are knowing this debugging technique. Now, second point, I'll show you one more technique in this case. Again, start our application from this. See, everything is wiped out because your session is terminated. So that means again everything is wiped out. JVM memory, whatever it is. Now again, you are executing your application. I'll show you one more option also. That's why. Please play with all these options, guys. You will not get within 1 week. I'm telling you, at least if you start today, you will get this technique in next 1 month. Then you can become master with respect to debugging techniques. So many people used to request like so how to do the debugging and all. Okay, let's see here. Let's execute again one more time. What you have to do? You have to do debug as, not run as. If it is run as, it's a plain mode, not debugging mode. If it is debug as Java application, again what will happen? Where is the breakpoint? Here you given the breakpoint. Now you can ask, sir, I can give breakpoint only here or somewhere else I can give. Yeah, wherever you want, you can give a breakpoint. For example, see here, what I will do is, see, now what happened? JVM waiting at this line. Now you felt like this all logic I know, this all logic I know. So I want to enter into okay somewhere else directly somewhere else like that you want to give a breakpoint. So you can give breakpoint here also. So in line number 15 level I given breakpoint. And if you go to the banking service, for example, you felt like line number 20 level banking service class and you given breakpoint here. So now in this case, if you are using this button resume button, what will happen? It is, see, these are all what line by line, entering into line, like you are making line by line execution. This play button, resume button, okay, this green button says like jumping from one breakpoint to another breakpoint. So that means right now JVM waiting at here. Now where it will go, it will enter inside the constructor, and inside the constructor in the flow, where is the next breakpoint available? Here it is available. Now see, if I am clicking on that, directly it is coming to the next breakpoint. Now if I am clicking again on this, as a developer you added any breakpoints? Yes, you added here. If you not added, what will happen? It will, whenever you clicked on this button, it will check for next breakpoint. Is there any in the going forward? Is there any breakpoint available or not? Break available or not? If there is a break, JVM will pass there. If there is no break, JVM will continue the end of the flow. See here. Now everything is executed. You given 3 and again enter account number, something like I given. So no way JVM is making its own work on top of it because you are not using these options now. Enter withdrawal amount, something I given like this, 6 exit mode. So that is the play button means you are just making like okay I don't want to do the debugging. In middle you identified the issue and you realize like okay this is what happening. Next 200 lines are there. Then again you know it, there is no point of making like next line, right? So you want to move quickly to the last line. Then you have to use this play button option. Okay, let me see. Now I don't have a breakpoint here, but I have a breakpoint where here. That means in my execution flow, now this will become as a first breakpoint. This will become a first breakpoint, right? So whether it is right or wrong, see, go to main method again. run as, no, debug as Java application. See now directly where it came and stopped here. Why? This is the first breakpoint you given in the execution flow. Now zero breakpoints means now equal to run mode. Even though you are started in the debugging mode, see now what buttons are enabled. Step over, next line, 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 next line. Okay, even like that. You don't want to see now, you felt like, okay, I know all these options, please move to the, like that, you have to click on resume button. Then immediately it will, now JVM is freely moving to the, until next breakpoint, if any breakpoint available, it will move until there. So invalid choice, enter 6, exit, thank you, terminated. Now I'll show you one more. I said right, I will show you one more point. So see here, I came here banking service. For example, testing team raised a defect like in the create account, while we are creating accounts, so we found some issue. That means this is the logic of create account. Now you can apply breakpoint directly here. So that means whenever logic JVM came here, it will, once reaching this line, it will wait for you. That is what breakpoint you given. Now go to the main method, and you given anywhere else other breakpoints? No, right? You can give, it's up to your choice. That's why I'm saying play with these buttons, nothing will happen. So run as, no, debug as. If you are doing run as, those breakpoints not coming into the picture. Only debugging mode. Now I entered what? Create account. See why it moved until this line, guys? Because you don't have any breakpoints in between that. That's why it is moved. Now I entered one. The moment I entered one, what? Create account. So that means it will move to this method. Now JVM will come to this method, but you have a breakpoint line number 34, right? See, the moment you entered one and click on enter button. Now what happened? JVM is waiting at this line. Why it is waiting at this line? You applied a breakpoint here. You applied a breakpoint here. See, by the time JVM reaching this line, what is the data available in the JVM memory? Total 9 accounts available. Okay, with in the hash map you maintain total 9 accounts. So all that information. Now here you can do next line, next line. Now in what you are entering, I am entering uh, 33, 44, 55, and I'm clicking on enter. The moment I'm clicking on enter, what happens? In this account number, what is the value came, guys? In this account number, what is the value? 334455 we entered. Yes, that's what. In this variable, local variable level, 334455 values. Now what you are doing, you are making a condition, right? Now, my point here it is, can I change this account number value from 334455 to some other value? Yes, we can do that. We are already did that. Even if you want, one more time I will show you. See here, you come back here. Okay, you can set a value here like 5555 I given. Now it modified at runtime as 5556. That is one way you can do. Okay, and you can go here. If you see here, if you are clicking on right click also, if you see here, inspect, execute, watch, something, some options are there. So you can utilize these options also. Okay, so what it is now where JVM is waiting at this is the condition, right? Generally I said like if block point of view, if you apart from this, in between whatever you written, it will become as a condition, true or false. Now instead of executing, I want to see this result, what will come, whether true or false. That means, understand the point. This line should not be executed, but still I want to see what is the result of this line once it is executed. You got my point? Line should not be executed, but before executing itself, what is the result will come based on the current value. I want to inspect it. So that means select, highlight it, whatever the thing you want to do, inspecting. So that means right click, go here, what is this option is inspect. Inspect, click on inspect. What it is saying is, if you see here, false. So what is the option of inspect here? It is trying to say here it is, once this condition is executed, you are going to get value as false. Value as false. Understand the point. This line is not yet executed, guys. You just made a inspection. Inspection means you are just checking what is the result will come. What the result will come, false. Now, see here. That means false means it will move to the else condition and your account got created. Why account number 5566? You don't have as of now. Now see here. Now you felt like no. I want to enter inside this. I don't want to enter else block. Some problem is here. So for that, what you have to change to enter inside this condition should become true. To this condition becoming true means what you have to do? You have to take a account number which is already existed, but you given something wrong. I mean, not existed. Now what I did is, I'm making my value as 1111. So now what happened again? Account number became 111111 like that. Now again inspect it, highlight the condition, only condition, right click, inspect. Now what you got? True. That means now what happening means, once this line is executed, sorry, this condition is executed, you are going to get a true result. True means then JVM enters inside. Now see, with that latest value of 1111, what is happening? Step over, it enter into if condition. So that means what you understood from here. You can you can inspect the logic before execution itself. Before execution itself, you can evaluate it. You can inspect it. So it came again here, and next line, next, choose option. Now I entered transfer funds 5. So that means it will go to where now? This method. It will come here now. So I can apply breakpoint here, and whenever you applied a breakpoint here, you can directly click on the play button, this green button. Then automatically, wherever JVM is working, from there to here, it will come and it will stop automatically here. Okay, so here you have to enter the button. Now what happened? At this breakpoint, it is waiting. Now next. Okay, it is asking from which account number you want to transfer the amount. I want to transfer from this account, and now it is asking enter destination account number. Next, the moment you click on next, then it is asking what is the account number you want to transfer. I want to transfer to 222222. Now click on enter. Now what happened? Now again, if you want to do inspection, you can do that. So that means now what you written? Some condition you written, right? And condition. Now and means what? You're joining two condition. Condition number 1, condition number 2. Condition number 1, condition number 2. So now I want to see only condition 1 result, what is going to come before execution itself. That means right click, select only that area. You have to select very carefully. Select and then right click, go to the option called as inspect. Inspect. Now what it is saying is true. That means this condition result will become true. That means yes, that account number 1, this 111 is available in the existing accounts. Similarly, second condition you want to check. Yes, check it. Second condition result. Hi, okay, select it, inspect it. Now what happened? True. So that means true and true means overall true. Whether it is right or wrong, even you can inspect both at a time also. Select all. See, you are making inspect, guys. Inspect means JVM not executing in reality. Just you are making a inspection. What is going to happen like that. So now inspect. What happened? Overall condition result is true. Why? Yes, 111, 2222, all accounts are existed in my database. That's why both are existing. That's why it came as, and you will select transfer amount and all these things. Now, for example, what I am doing is still JVM is waiting at line number 101 only. Now I made my destination account as 334455. Actually, this account number is not there. So now that means, now understand the inspection. Highlight it, source account, first account, 1111 is existed. Inspect true. What? Yes, true. Cool. Now second condition, highlight it, inspect what? False. That means first condition is true and false. True and false means what is the result? False. That means overall condition result, inspect false. So the moment you got false means where you will JVM enters else block. See, JVM enter here. So that is how you can play the execution flow of JVM. So you can evaluate the code also. You can inspect the code also what is going to happen once that line is executed. If you want to know, you can do the inspections also. Not only conditions in this kind of conditions, some calculations when you assume some calculations you are having. So at that time also you can evaluate what is going to happen like that. Okay, so now this is one more option, skip. If you are clicking on this, if it is highlighted, the point of what is the meaning of it is, you don't want to do the debugging. Assume you are having lot of other breakpoints and lot of logic is there after this line. Simply you don't want to do that. Okay, don't want to do the debugging. It should work as a normal mode. Even though you are in the debugging mode. See, right now I am in the debugging mode. But I don't want to do the debugging because I found my issue here and I felt like, okay, something I have to do here like that. Now I don't want to do the debugging. So then if you are enabling this button skip and clicking on this button, simply it will go to the next flow like that, 6. Okay, now see here, go to the main method. Now observe here, this button is enabled. The moment it is enabled means even though your application you started in the debugging mode, and even though you are having lot of breakpoints, nothing will coming into the picture, guys. See, run as debugging mode. You are entering so and so options. Nothing is happening. So that means it came as a normal mode. So that means skip all breakpoints equal to run mode, normal run mode. For example, if you see earlier I given breakpoint. See now, this is how you can understand what breakpoint crossed with cross line. That means you disable the breakpoints. So that means you don't want to delete the breakpoints and you don't want to do the debugging also. But even though you started in the debugging mode, it should work as a normal mode. Then you have to enable this button, skip all breakpoints. Now it's not at all waiting for you. Now if you again disable this button, now see breakpoint is enabled again. The cross mark is gone. That means now it's breakpoint is live. Active breakpoint now. Now if you started again your application, run as Java application. Now what happens? Okay, sorry, you made run as Java application. Debug. It's all about story of debug. Debug as Java application. What happened? JVM coming here and waiting. So that is how you have to play with. So now this button, red button. Generally we will do terminate here, right? So you want to stop your logic. Okay, you want to stop all the execution flow. So you can click on here, terminate, or you can click on here. Both are same. Terminate. Both are same, guys. This one, now same. So you felt like, okay, I don't want to do any debugging. Okay, let's leave it. Leave the middle itself. Leave in the middle itself. You want to stop your application. So click on this. Automatically, you terminated the JVM session. So that is how you have to play with these buttons. So especially these buttons, you have to play start from today itself. Any program, not only this example. See here again debugging mode. Here you have Java mode. Click on that Java mode. You can come back to your own things point of view. So tomorrow if you are executing any method, for example, I don't know what is the class I have here. I'm just opening randomly. One. Okay. Interview series something I don't know. Class 1 main method, no main method. Yeah. So what you're doing, method 5, your call. So that means everywhere you can apply breakpoint. You can apply breakpoint here, run as no debug as Java application. So the moment this method is called debugging, it came here and it is waiting for you. So you can start making debugging from today onwards. It's a good, very important technique.